Greetings, families, falcons, and friends. My name is Miles Beasley. I am here to welcome you all to the Prezell R. Robertson Library. We are here at St. Augustine's University to welcome our new president. Speaking of great welcomes, we are here today with President Dr. Christine Johnson McPhail, a leader in higher education, nationally recognized, the current CEO of the McPhail Group LLC, and she serves on many boards and has many titles. Can you join me in please welcoming our president, Dr. Christine Johnson McPhail? So before we start, I would also like to say that this is an amazing opportunity for not only me, a student, but just for the other students to get to know who their president is. So first, by starting, I would just like to say thank you again for sitting down with me, because you didn't have to. Education is obviously means so much to you. So what drives you to be the leader that you are today?
I would have to say that beginning with my mother and father, they were just like totally inspiring for me as a young person growing up. That foundation that I got at home, the foundation that I got from my high school faculty and some of the community leaders. But when I was growing up, that was a real African-American neighborhood where you could see like the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers. And what was so special about that time was that the community was vested in the future of the young people. And let's fast forward to now. At St. Augustine's University, we have the same kind of spirit of my neighborhood where I was growing up. So I would have to say what inspires me is the opportunity to contribute to the next generation of future leaders.
I absolutely love that. So St. Augustine's University is a unique school for so many reasons, but one of the things that make it so special is that most of its leadership, student and executive, are women. So as a woman in leadership, what is something that, how does that make you feel as a woman in leadership?
Okay, one of the things I want to say about true leadership should not be gender specific.
Exactly,
Actually, it should be more of a character and who you are as an individual. So one of the things that I think being a woman, the fact that I'm a mother, a grandmother, that brings about a certain nurturing. So I'm given license to nurture the students, and I think that that is a real plus in leadership. So that when I walk out on the campus and I see you and others walking, I see the future of the university. I see the future of our community. And it's really an uplifting. So the fact that I can use my gifts and talents, and I'm going to say God-given gifts and talents, and then of course the formal training that I've had to help and to invest in today, that engagement also makes a better future for all of us.
Yes, ma'am. So as a CEO and president of many different organizations, what would you say would be your first course of action for this university?
Well, the first, and it has to be a priority for me because it's very personal, in terms of, you're familiar with my late husband, who was your president here, for our president, I should say, for 90 days. The legacy, the mission, of what he talked about during his period here was how do we make St. Augustine's a better university than what we found.
Exactly.
So that's the priority that I have is the health, safety, and welfare of all of you. And that's very personal to me in terms that our students, when they come to this university, feel safe and cared about. That the faculty and the staff and the administrators understand that we are all here to facilitate teaching and learning. And so that our students will have an experience that when you leave, you're going to be happy and excited about going. So you have to come and experience what I experienced at St. Augustine's University. So that's what I'm looking forward to being a part of.
So what are some of your goals for the students?
My goal for all students would be bold, be courageous, be a full partner in your own education, help control your own experience, speak boldly about what your expectations are, let people know what you came here for, and don't settle for anything less than excellence. That's my goal. Let excellence be your calling card, be the common ground that we all rally around.
Okay. So in times like these, I feel that a positive attitude is the best one to have. So what are some of the tools you use on a daily to keep you in a positive mindset and attitude?
That's a very easy one. That is very easy. I start off my day in meditation and being thankful. Being thankful that I've been given this blessing, being able to be here and to be honored to serve as the president of this university. The other thing that I think is important for me is to not have a narrative that I'm not willing to walk out. So if I'm talking about being excellent, I'm talking about being fair, I'm talking about being equity, then I shouldn't go and act differently. So being consistent, the message and the behavior has to be consistent.
Yes, ma'am. So what does begin with the end in mind mean to you?
The Alpha and Omega. See, if we begin with excellence, we have to pour into excellence. You know, there's a thing about biblical saying that you don't pour new wine into old wineskin. So if we want all students to excel, we have to create an environment that supports that kind of excellence in our students. So, said another way, many of us say, you know, walking your talk.
Yes. Okay, I like that. So, what was your biggest factor when considering this position? Because I know it was
you, students,
Yes,
students first and everything. The future of the university, the future of our race, the future of this country depends on us getting this one right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, a school is all about learning who you are, and I feel that when you embark on a journey for higher education, it's all about getting to understand what you want to do with the rest of your life. So, but when you think about that, there's always a life lesson that you've learned. So, what was a life lesson that still impacts you to this day, and what did it teach you?
Easy question. You said you were going to ask hard questions.
I never said that.
Okay, here it is. Education is our weapon. I sincerely believe that. My mother taught me that, my dad taught me that, my parents reinforced it, the community people I came in. Get an education, girl. You know, nobody can take it away from you. You know, we hear that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. That is not just talk. That's the real deal.
Okay.
Nelson Mandela said it too, that education is a huge weapon. And if we give our young people nothing but that, we're changing the world right there.
Okay. So when did you know that education was for you? When did you know that you just needed to be Dr. Christine?
Well, I'd be lying if I told you I woke up one morning and said I was going to be a doctor of education. That is not the way it happened. And let me tell you what happened. I was blessed to come into contact with people who saw in me things that I didn't even see myself. But the teaching came about the mentoring and helping to frame and shape me into who they saw. And then what happened is I'm looking in my mom's eyes and she says, I wish you could see in yourself what I see. And then I wanted to keep that glow in her eyes, so I raised up to those expectations. So I would say that connecting with the beliefs that other people had in me, well, you know, of course, I'm still a student. I don't know what I'm going to learn next, right? So I just keep going after it.
Okay. So what do you miss most about actually being submerged in the classroom, teaching students face to face? What do you miss most about it?
Watching you now smile, watching your eyes when you get it, being able to go over and just say, what are you working on now? And you know, in a very real way, and then being able to experience that with you, that's what I miss the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you've been a president for a very long time. You know, you have an amazing career. But when you first stepped into the role of executive, what was your biggest fear there?
That I would learn I would forget how to teach. That I would forget it.
That's a teacher mentality. My
Yeah,
mother's the same way.
that I would forget it, because even as a president or a dean or vice president, you should never separate yourself from the teaching and the empowerment piece, because my effectiveness as a leader is really contingent upon your willingness to let me lead.
Yes, ma'am.
And we do that by empowering and teaching. So that's why I'm ever mindful that not to take myself too seriously, and being able to connect with, whether it's a subordinate as an employee or if I'm in that student-teacher role. So I want to hold on to that, and I think that'll keep me focused on the main thing.
Yes, ma'am. I love what you said earlier about the stigma surrounding 13. And funny enough, my birthday is actually the 13th of August.
Okay.
And my first initial is the 13th letter of the alphabet.
See, now you know why. It's because you have that energy, you have that motivation, you have all of that, the completeness of that number and who you are as a person.
But I really, honestly, I truly thank you for this opportunity to be able to ask someone like you questions, someone with your stature, resume, and just everything that you are. Because, I mean, you are truly an alpha woman, and I truly thank you for this opportunity, really, honestly. It's humbled me completely.
I appreciate you, and you honor me by allowing me to sit here with you and talk
Yes,
with you about
ma'am.
the experience.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.